stay down. All right, now, that's what happens when somebody is exposed to the taser. Now, we're also taught how to remove the probes from the people that we shoot. It doesn't require medical or anything like that. And as you can see right here, Trey is not dead. Okay.
Good thing I'd hate to call his wife tonight.
Yeah. All right, so now what we do is we kneel down next to him. We want to make sure that the skin is firm. We don't want to pull it to where it's elastic or anything like that. Make sure that it's firm, and we reach down and grab the probe and we just pluck it out. And it's hung in his, it hit his belt.
Oh man, I was hoping you weren't going to get my new belt.
Got him in the belt.
You want the belt now? It looks like we're going to buy you a belt, Trey.
Yeah, we'll buy you a belt.
Oh, you bought me this belt.
I'll pull this one out right here so you can see that. That one is not actually in his skin anymore. And that one may not have actually penetrated the skin. The thing about a taser is the actual arc that goes from the point of the taser probe into his body. It can arc up to 3/4 of an inch and still be effective without actually penetrating the skin. So if you have somebody who's wearing real thick clothing or something like that, it will arc through that clothing. It'll arc through body armor. Now, when these probes go in, they also cauterize the area that's right around us. When we pull them out, there may be a small amount of blood, but for the most part, it's numb and it's been cauterized. So on this one, oh man, I hate to pull a hole in your shirt. All right, so that one's out.
I took my uniform shirt off.
I'm gonna have to get you a pair of pliers to pull that one out. But you can see, oh, there it goes.
You got your torch shirt too.
Yeah, pull your shirt up. All right,
That's all right.
you good?
Get you
I'm good.
All right. As you can see, there's no long-term effect. Now I'm going to show you these right here. You can pass them down. It's very sharp on the end right there as I'm passing, letting you look at them now. That is basically the same thing that is a straightened out fish hook. It's surgical stainless steel and it has a barb on it. So when it goes in, it sticks. The wires that are used right here that come out, we use 25-foot cartridges. And as you can see, they're copper. No, sir, it's done. It's copper, and if you grab it and you pull it, it breaks.
I might be able to get $1.25 with bare minimum.
So, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things.
You could have pulled, if you'd left this hooked up, you could have pulled the trigger again and
Got him
he
again.
wasn't acting right.
Yeah.
When I started to pop up like that.
Yeah.
back down.
And all he's got to do is, if he's still on the ground and the probes are still in him, all I've got to do is say, "Stay down, stay down, stay down." And if he tries to get up, all right. And as long as those probes are in him or they're still arcing, he'll stay down. He is in neuromuscular incapacitation. In other words, he can't move. He's paralyzed. He can hear everything that's going on around him. He can hear what you're saying. He can hear everything. He can hear the verbal commands, but he can't do anything about it because he's paralyzed.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
That's why you leave those cartridges in the, you leave them in until you know they're...
Right. And then I'll move, and if something happens, if the lead gets broke or something like that, because you see how easy those are to break?
Will this shock you?
Yeah.
Yes. If I'm shooting it and it's still attached to the taser, if you brush up against the wires as they're run down to him and I'm discharging it, yeah, it'll shock you if you brush up against them. That's one of the reasons we do the exposure of officers, so they'll know that if they go in to arrest somebody who's down on the ground and they brush up against the wires, it's going to sting them, but they are not down. They can still keep going. They can still survive and everything and continue to fight. Trey has probably been shot 3 or 4 times with a taser. He's been drive stunned with it and all this other stuff like that. And as you can see again, Trey's not dead.
We're worried about his mental capacity, but beyond that, let me ask the class something. Why do you think that Lieutenant Dix gave very loud verbal commands? Is it because you think that he's hard of hearing, or why do you think that we do real loud verbal commands?
To make sure that he
Hopefully
hears
they'll
and other
do
people.
whatever you
Right,
say.
what are you doing? If you,
Trying to get them to...
what else are you also doing? Could you also be using your commands, witnesses, to witnesses here? I heard him say, "Get on the ground," 3 or 4 times.
And especially, I guess, if you got a car up there videotaping it.
Yeah. And one of the things that we do here with ours, again, all of our officers have to be exposed to it to be able to carry it. And we videotape every exposure. We actually have a camera. We do it in the classroom in there, and we set up a camera in there, and I go through that exact same process with every single officer, whether they are actually getting shot with it, or the wire's hooked to them, or they're getting touched with it. It's the exact same thing every single time. So now, later on down the road, somebody comes up and they accuse Trey or one of these other officers of using excessive force, that the taser is cruel and inhumane. I've been shot with it.
You get him on the stand, the defense attorney says, "You have no idea how much pain you inflicted upon my client, do you?" Well, yes, sir,
Yeah,
I
I
do.
do.
How do you know that? Have you ever been shot with it? Yes, sir, I have.
Are all the tasers the same, like for a young lady or a big guy, or?
They're all the same.
You're
the
talking
same?
about the ones you can buy on the aftermarket?
No, these.
These, all the same.
No, we're talking about if somebody, are you talking about male and female officers?
Yeah, no, I mean, but if you're
And the
shooting